So a quick update here. The fan came in and I wanted to get on it right away, so here it is. Those little tape strips, those are adhesive strips that attach the thing to the metal component in the back that holds the CPU in. Let's get this thing started. I don't expect a huge amount of heat reduction, but a little bit. Let's get the back cover off here. So that little those adhesive strips are going to attach to this little metal block that holds the CPU carriage against the motherboard. And I just kind of test fitting it there, just seeing how it looks, making sure it was the right one and all before I got into this too heavy. So that's how it's going to look. So it's going to go into the motherboard. Little screw holes go through the motherboard, and the adhesive strips attach to that metal plate. It's a little metal bracket there. That top cover off. Let's get this fan out of here. And what as I mentioned before, whenever I did anything to this computer, it always seemed like one or two of those posts had come loose. Well, this was no exception, and I literally just sat this back down on the ground. If I'd kicked it hard enough, I suppose this fan could have came off and just would have been flopping around inside the case. The ones that are nearest us, see that one? Not that one. That one was still in there pretty good. But the ones nearest us were out. They were literally just flopping there. There was no attachment to the motherboard at all. So we definitely did the right thing here by removing this thing and going to the positive screw attachment device, which is what is it going in here. And I'm not going to bore you with when I cleaned all that off, that little heat compound. The new fan came with its own, so I just cleaned that off and got rid of it, so it's all nice and fresh. So here's the gizmo, the back plate, as it were, which attaches to the metal bracket, like I said, with the little adhesive pads. So I'm just going to kind of push those down a little bit, make sure the adhesive takes long enough for me to get this fan on anyway. After that, it's the fan that'll hold it in. But this is just a little nice thing they do to allow me to get the screws started. Yeah, forgive my horrible camera work. I have a cheap camera and a cheap audio rig in here in the bedroom, so like my good friend Fred, cheap was my middle name. Here, let me move that over so you can see what the fuck I'm doing, because I'm like retarded or something. So the first screw went in fine. That one there, you can see it's just wobbling around. I hadn't got the fan seated properly, so I gotta give it a couple more tries here and see if I can get one started. But then I realized, yeah, this thing's off center a little bit. Let me get this thing centered, and it clicked in there. I said, oh, okay, so that's the ticket. So I just got these two tops, make sure that the thing was aligned, make sure that the thing was still screwed in a little bit, and all the rest of the screws went in fine. Now, these screws are spring-loaded, so you have to kind of push down on them anyway to just even get them started. But once I got them started, they were fine. I went back to the star pattern of screwing them down so that we get even pressure on the CPU. So that's my starting point. That's my second point. opposite of the starting point, and then I just move up one because I got two choices there, and then over to the other one. I'm going to check here in a second and make sure this thing's going on and it's tight. And it was getting pretty tight, but I just wanted to give a few more turns here to make sure it was going to stay there and not vibrate off or anything. It was nice and tight, but I just wanted a little bit of tighty. But like I said, these screws are spring loaded, so they were pushing against the thing going in there. So this power connector is in a bad spot on the motherboard, which is right at the top of the case, and God, my big, ugly, clumsy hands are in the way, and it was difficult for me to get this thing in. I definitely was like, oh God, try this. No, that didn't work. And those little holes on those pins are very small, so you have to really get it set. I mean, it's much easier to do outside of the case, which normally is how I would do this. Building a system, you would build the motherboard and whatnot on the box. So yeah, it was a pain to get that connector connected and knock the camera over. That was fun. But anyway, I decided, well, that's not good. So anyway, I finally got that thing in there. And I decided, oh yeah, well, let's put some light on it. Maybe that might help. I could actually see what I'm doing. Get that ketchup and mustard thing out of the way. I was thinking about putting some shrink tubing on it, but I couldn't find any. I didn't want to take those connectors off that end. There's really no clean way to do that. So I didn't. Just want to plug this in real quick and make sure everything's working right. Just kind of no keyboard, no mouse, just the power monitor so I could see what's going on. And all the fans started up. I want to make sure my exhaust fans were still exhausting, and they are. And that's on there nice and tight, so yay, I think I was done, more or less. Just wanted to make sure it booted up and worked right. And it did. So there's the back panel, the little support bracket that sticks onto that CPU bracket with the little adhesives. Much cleaner, much smarter. I wish Intel just would do this, because these things are so cheap. They should just do this out of the box instead of that little tip thing. Oh, and here's the something I didn't show you when the case rebuild. Here's the intake fan for the power supply. It's got its own little dust filter down there on the bottom of the case, which is kind of cool. Didn't show you that to begin with, but so this fucking fan is out of my system now, and fuck you. Goodbye. Everyone, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I'm a long way away from being monetized, so help out. Anything you can do to help would be great. Thanks. See you soon.